This is NR2003 Predicts. We take the entry list of NASCAR's top 3 series, send them through the ratings algorithm, and see who comes out on top. Here's a few tidbits to know heading in. The driver ratings are updated race by race to reflect the performance of that driver throughout the season, as well as at that specific track in recent years. The races are at 100% length and use normal tire and fuel wear. The starting lineup will match the real-life qualifying using the provisional starting order, not the one that includes drivers heading to the back. The weather will match the real-life start time data, and commentary will match the real-life scenarios, not the standings that will be posted at the end of the video. And as always, this series is for entertainment purposes only. Using artificial intelligence and using the results of this race for gambling purposes is discouraged. A couple of races coming prior to Cup. Truck race is going to start off with a victory for Zane Smith, Tyler Ankrum, Tanner Gray. Ben Rhodes and Christian Eckes will follow just behind. Also some solid days for both the Hill brothers, Timmy and Tyler in the top 20. Chandler Smith and Sam Mayer. Some young talents not having a great day here today, and Derek Kraus having some issues. He'll finish back in 32nd spot. And in the Xfinity race, it would be Ross Chastain taking the victory, followed by Justin Haley, Anthony Alfredo, Justin Allgaier, and Michael Annett. Among the drivers that we'd normally see up front not having good days include Chase Briscoe, 29th place for him after having a late issue. Also, Noah Gragson back in 34th place, Brandon Jones, 36th, both having issues in the early part of this race. Now we move on to the Cup race. First race of the doubleheader for this weekend. Green flag flies for Chase Elliott at the front. Nine car gets a great jump off the start. Denny Hamlin trying to work that outside line to stay in second place in front of his teammate Martin Truex Jr. Looks like he'll grab it, but the 9 car will be the one that leads the first lap. 311 laps in this race. And there's going to be some early issues as Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Ryan Blaney, Tyler Reddick all getting together. 3 wide off of turn 4. They're going to smack the outside wall, and Ryan Preece is also going to make contact with the 8. That is going to cause some heavy damage to the 37 car, and Preece will be the first one to drop out of the race. Those other 3 will stay in the race, but they'll have some damage to work with, and they're going to have to deal with it for a long time. Denny Hamlin able to get by Chase Elliott for the lead. Elliott, the best average finish here, 8.6 among 8 starts. Suarez does pretty decent, although he doesn't have quite the equipment he used to, having an 8.7 finish here. Jimmy Johnson, though, he is the dominator of this racetrack. 11 victories over the course of his career. He is still looking for his first in quite a few years. But right now, he is trying to see if he can work his way up. Right now, outside the top 10. Another 3-wide situation that's going to go haywire. Brennan Poole gets into Clint Boyer. A little contact with Timmy Hill as well. Boyer's going to go back up the racetrack, and Garrett Smithley in the 7 is going to clobber him. So big damage for the 14, but it's not going to end there as Bubba Wallace doesn't see him coming on that inside line. Going to plow into him, and that's going to take both the 14 and the 43 out of this race, as well as the 7. Get back to the green flag. Denny Hamlin has the lead. He's going to drop down to the inside. Try to get a run on some of his competition. On another issue here as they're 3 wide once again off turn 4. This time it's Kevin Harvick, one of the dominating drivers of the season, who's going to get turned into the outside wall. He'll have a little bit of damage on his back end. Tyler Reddick once again caught him in one, along with Brad Keselowski. Kurt Busch fortunately comes to a stop before he gets caught up in that one. But getting back to the caution flag, Reed Sorensen going to get turned right into the wall. Ty Dillon is the one that kind of sends him down there. And there's going to be contact with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. there. And it looks like it's going to be serious enough that the 47 drops out of the race. Not a good day for the JTG Doherty Racing team. As we get back to the green flag, we also understand Jimmy Johnson has a mechanical problem. He has gone back to the garage, and it looks like his day might also be over. And now Martin Truex Jr., who had the lead coming down the pit lane, looks like he has a penalty to serve. That's not only going to cost him the lead, but possibly a lap. And Brad Keselowski going up in smoke down the backstretch. Another possible contender in this race. He is going to head to pit lane, and it looks like he'll actually take it back to the garage. His race is over for. Back on the track, Matt Kenseth. Johnson may have the wins, but Kenseth kind of holds steady with him on the top 5s. Obviously, Johnson, if he finishes up in the top 5, he'll likely win, but Kenseth is doing pretty well for himself on this racetrack as well. We'll hit the end of stage 1, and Austin Dillon barely going to beat out Kevin Harvick to the line. Even though Harvick has that damage, he's able to finish in second place. Kyle Busch, Ryan Newman, Chase Elliott will round out that top 5. Eric Jones, the last one to grab a stage point. A little bit of shuffling on the pit stops. Kyle Busch will now be out in front, followed by Dillon, Chase Elliott. Harvick's going to go to 5th place after that round of pit stops, and now Elliott's going to try to make a move for the lead. Cuts to the inside of Kyle Busch, and now the 9 car back out in front. At the minute, Edward trying to get his lap back. And here comes Harvick trying to work his way on the outside of Kyle Busch. 19 top 10s here at this racetrack for Harvick. And with a little bit of damage on his back end, you can see it's kind of cut off. Trying to work his way up toward the 9 to get the lead. Kyle Busch has led quite a few laps here, as has Johnson and Harvick. All 3 of them eclipsing 1,000 laps led here. Busch now trying to see if he can work his way back up toward the lead, but it looks like the 9 car is pulling away at the moment. William Byron working his way through the field right now, but not inside the top 10. Obviously, he needs to work on getting some points. Holding the last playoff spot right now. Eric Jones, one of those drivers that is trying to work his way up toward a spot in the playoffs. Jimmy Johnson dropped out of the race, and now Jones is trying to take advantage of him being away. But as we say that, Jones is slowing on the backstretch. 20 car now headed to pit lane. This is really going to open the door for Byron to try to gain a little bit of a gap. 2 drivers that were just behind the playoff cut line are now behind the wall. Now we see pit stops taking place under green flag. Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick coming down at the same time. But now Harvick's going to try to work his way to the inside and get the lead as they get back on the racetrack. 4 car out in front has damage on his back end. Looks like it's not affecting him too much, as he's going to get by the 9 car and take the stage victory. So Harvick out in front, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Eric Almirola going to round up the top 5. Matt Benedetto works himself into the top 10. We'll take the final stage point of stage 2. Now we head back to the restart, and we see Kyle Busch's view, and he's going to try to see if he can work his way to the inside of the 9 car. Got one of every manufacturer represented up here at the lead, but Reed Sorensen going to get turned around and going to get clobbered by Quinn Houff, and William Byron plows into him, along with Matt Benedetto. But the 24 car looks like he was going to have an advantage to take away from Jones and Johnson going behind the wall, but now the 24 himself is damaged, and he is out of the race along with the 21, another one of those guys that are trying to stay within the playoff bubble. Here we see Denny Hamlin working his way to the inside of the 4 car. That is get a lap back. Harvick is still the leader, but Hamlin trying to work his way back on the lead lap. Chase Elliott trying to see if he can hold up with the 4 car. Kyle Busch has fallen way back, but the 9 is the only one that still has a chance to catch up. And now a problem here is Timmy Hill gets into the wall, and a big hit to the inside on the front stretch, and Austin Dillon also collected. Corey LaJoie kind of rebounds off both walls. But Hill went for a flight, and it looks like that 66 car is going to somehow stay on track. They stayed on the damaged vehicle policy, but that car cannot be running too fast for much longer, considering how much height it got. And now here comes Hamlin. He got his lap back, and now he's challenging for the lead. And we see Hill out in front, and the 11 might use him for a pick on the 4. And it looks like he's going to be able to make the move to the inside. So Hamlin utilizes the car that just wrecked, and he is going to head to the front. Chase Elliott's still in tow. He's only about a second behind both of those drivers. He's not falling back like he did on the last stint. And here's a problem for Kevin Harvick. He has a tire going down. From second place, Harvick heads to the pits. He reported a vibration, and it looks like a tire's cut down. Now on the white flag lap, Denny Hamlin has the advantage over Chase Elliott. And this is a track that Hamlin has never won at. Finished as high as second in 2018. But 5 wins to his name this season, and looking for a 6th. Working his way around the lap, traffic coming off at turn 4. And Hamlin is going to find his way to victory lane for the first time here at Dover. So victory beckons for the 11 team once again, and they are going to have quite the celebration tonight. Hamlin out in front, Elliott just behind, tried to keep pace. Eric Almirola, Joey Logano, and Kevin Harvick, despite coming to pit lane, still gets the top 5. Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, they're just outside the top 5, and Cole Custer putting up a nice top 10 effort, trying to show his strength going into the playoffs with his victory. Christopher Bell, another rookie, finishes just outside the top 10 and 11th. John Hunter Nemechek also up there. A good day for Front Row Motorsports as they're 13th and 14th. Looks like Alex Bowman was on pit lane just before we crossed the finish line. He comes home in 17th. A couple of lost positions, and Josh Bilicki finds himself up in the top 20. There were a lot of problems for drivers today, especially those that we would normally see at the front, that gave some opportunities for guys that we normally don't see up here to get good finishes. Matt Benedetto, William Byron crashing out late. Eric Jones and Jimmy Johnson, two drivers that are just below the playoff cut line. These were days that they could not afford. But sometimes you're going to have mechanical issues, and that is what happened today. That is it for NR2003 Predicts. We hope you enjoyed the race, and we will see you all next time.